In the confusion that has been COVID-safe footy, there have been a number of terms thrown around off-field that could leave the casual footy fan a touch confused. One such area that has attracted plenty of attention is the cap on football department spending, commonly known as the soft cap. This video will explain how the soft cap works, why it was introduced, and what it will look like in the years to come. A good place to start is by comparing it to the salary cap, which limits how much clubs can spend on their total player wages. This is a hard cap, and the penalties for exceeding it are severe, for example, receiving a total trade ban. The idea of the salary cap is to promote equality and equalisation, preventing the bigger clubs from buying the loyalties of the best players with monster contracts. Many clubs, however, make significantly more money than what they're allowed to pay their players, and could thus gain a considerable advantage through off-field spending on things like facilities, equipment, data analysis, and of course, the best coaching staff on offer. So, in 2015, to reduce the disparity between what some clubs were spending in their football departments compared to others, the soft cap was introduced to limit non-player related off-field spending. At the heart of these measures is the fans' experience, a determination to ensure each club has the on-field capacity to compete and potentially win each week. Then AFL Chairman Mike Fitzpatrick explained. The cap is referred to as soft because unlike the salary cap, clubs can exceed it without any major penalty, other than a monetary loss. In the first year, for every dollar of football department spending that exceeded the soft cap, clubs paid 37.5 cents worth of tax. That tax rate has since increased to a dollar for dollar value, to truly become an incentive for clubs to stick within the soft cap. The initial cap value was determined by average spending across the league and adding $500,000, which had increased with inflation year by year until reaching a value of $9.7 million at the start of the 2020 season. So in a hypothetically normal 2020, if a club spent $9.9 million on their football department, they would owe the AFL an extra $200,000 in luxury tax. Of the categories included in the soft cap, head coach wages represent a significant percentage of this total, often taking up over 10%. This goes to show just how impactful an act like Chris Scott's decision to forego his salary during lockdown would be, to retain staff after the soft cap was slashed, mid-year during what had been a devastating period for those employed in the sporting industry. On the flip side, early data suggests the large chunk senior coach salaries take out of the soft cap is a contributing factor to the incredibly high job security AFL senior coaches enjoy compared to many of the world's big sporting leagues, where they are able to pay out contracts and employ replacements without the worry of eating into valuable soft cap space. Simple enough, right? Well, over the next 3 years, the soft cap and its penalties are about to get a whole lot more complicated. In a period where the big clubs remain financially stable, and some already under financial strain have been kept afloat by AFL assistance, the AFL has seen it necessary to make further changes to the way clubs are taxed. After an initial slashing on the $9 million figure mid-last year that saw large amounts of staff lose their jobs, the AFL have recently confirmed that the soft cap will remain at a decreased figure of just over $6 million. With incentives in place to employ more women and Indigenous staff in football department roles. Clubs will also be able to claim $200,000 worth of spending on doctors and mental health staff outside of the cap, a move which puts an emphasis on player welfare. The way that the penalties are now structured means clubs will gradually be taxed more depending on how much they exceed the soft cap by, with successive years of overspending to receive even harsher taxing. The penalties are split into 4 brackets. Spending between 1 cent to $100,000 over the cap will receive a 75% tax. Spending between $100,000 and $250,000 over the cap will receive a dollar for dollar tax of 100% in year 1, then increase to 150% in year 2 and 200% in year 3. Spending between $250,000 and $500,000 over the cap will carry 150% in year 1, 225% in year 2, and 300% tax in year 3. And spending $500,000 or more over the cap will see clubs pay 200, 300, and 400% and years 1 to 3 respectively of tax. Confused now? Fair enough. We highly recommend reading the article by age writer Jake Nile, who goes into great depth about just how the new tax system will work year to year. You can find that link in the description. While it does appear that this will act as a real power balance across the 18 clubs, regretfully, it also means that many of the staff who lost football department jobs aren't likely to regain them next year, but could begin to make a return in 2022 and 2023, should next year be a prosperous one for the clubs and the AFL.